Hey guys, I am Jplaysss and welcome back to my channel. I say my channel because we're not doing my sort of normal type of content, which is gaming, but this is something I really wanted to do. I put up a poll to gauge what people wanted to see based off two different options because the poll only allowed me to, even though I wanted to post more. Thank you, poll. But it was between two subreddit well, not really kind of. It was between two different choices having to do with Reddit. It was either, oh crap, what was it again? It was either me checking out weird and funny subreddits, or me reading aloud scary stories on the NoSleep subreddit. And NoSleep won. The poll wasn't really designed to choose which one I was going to do over the other. I'm still probably going to do the other choice, but this was the one that I chose to do first, only because it outbeat the other. So, pardon me. Here we are, and if you don't know what NoSleep is, well, everyone knows what NoSleep is, but if you don't know what the r/subreddit if you don't know what the r/NoSleep subreddit is, it's basically a subreddit where you or anyone can post creepy, scary stories. And I believe here somewhere in this little description, you're supposed to treat every story as if it's true. Obviously, that's not going to be the case for all of them because, not every one of these can be true. A lot of them are probably fantasy, a lot of them are probably made up, and a lot of them are probably really well made up. So some of them might be convincing. I've seen a few of these kind of stories here and there. I really like the horror genre, so I like to hear scary stories and see creepy videos and stuff. But I've never actually gone to the site myself to check it out. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick just whatever catches my eye amongst these 25. I don't think I'm going to hit the next page. Maybe I'll do the next page next time if I don't find anything good. But I'm going to stick to this first page, 1 out of 25. And I'm going to try and stick to like 2 to 3, depending on how long they are per video. Because I do plan on doing this as a series, and I really do like this kind of thing. So let's find us one that piques my interest. Actually, the first one kind of piques my interest. There was ocean water in the swimming pool. That sounds like a mystery. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow. Oh my. Okay, that's not that bad. Yeah, we can get through this. All right. Even in the pool water. Wow, that started off wonderful. Even in the pool water and sweltering heat, her lips remained a vibrant red. I knew it was creepy to watch my neighbor swimming, but I just didn't know how to talk to her. She climbed up on the slide of the pool for a rest, singing something sweet but muffled as she combed her fingers through her hair. I didn't even know if she was into girls or not. Oh, so we're a girl in this one. Oh, alright, well at least we got character development. Here we go. With a creak, I pushed the window open a little to hear her singing. It's a fine day. I couldn't quite make out all the words. Her eyes caught mine and I leapt back from the window. She must have seen me. My heart pounded painfully in my chest. In a moment of bravery, or maybe just panic, I decided that talking to her was the only way to redeem myself. Just a pep talk later, I found myself hiding behind the fence and trying to think of something to say. Finally, I decided that I would ask her about her waterproof makeup. Wow, I'm skipping over these. Or maybe not. That might sound weird. Frustrated, I decided to just pop my head up over the fence and say the first thing that came to mind. I soon found that the fence was higher than I anticipated. With my face scrunched between two fence posts, I said the first thing that came to mind. Maybe a little louder than necessary. Hey! I like the day out! What I meant to say was either I like your makeup or beautiful day out. However, my indecision led to this mess. I was ready to run back inside and never come out again. But then she laughed. It sounded like music. "I like the day out too," she said. I could feel the blood rush to my ears. She must have noticed I was blushing. "Do you want to come hang out in the pool?" Not wanting to say something embarrassing, I nodded energetically, which was probably a lot worse. Then I dashed inside to get my swimsuit. Then I walked around to her yard. She was nowhere to be found. "Don't go in the pool yet. I'm getting drinks," she yelled from inside the house. Ooh. I sat down on a lawn chair. The sun was fierce and I realized I wasn't wearing sunscreen. 10 minutes passed and I began to sweat profusely. Surely she wouldn't mind if I just dipped my toes in. I sat down at the side of the pool and carefully dipped one leg in. It was cold. More so than swimming pools generally are. Considering the weather, this was a welcome anomaly. Without thinking, I slid into the pool entirely. The water was extremely cold, and a shiver ran down my spine. It smelled strange too, like salt. I kicked my legs to stay afloat while I rubbed some warmth into my cold arms. Something touched my foot. Something like seaweed. I tore my leg away, thought I got entangled in the stuff. I gave it another more violent tug, and finally tore it free. Flailing about in a panic, I pulled myself up onto the poolside. Shivering with both cold and fear, I pulled the strange tendrils off my leg. They were dark and stringy. With a jolt, I recognized what it was. Human hair. I looked into the pool. Nothing was there. With disgust, I peeled the slimy strands off my skin and tossed them into the grass. Then she returned with 2 glasses of lemonade. "I thought I told you not to go into the pool." Her voice had a beautiful sing-song quality, even when she was mad. Her demeanor softened. She set down the lemonade on the table. "It's okay. If you want to go to the pool now, we can go into the pool." She began climbing into the water. I didn't go into the pool anymore. But I also didn't... I didn't want to go into the pool anymore. But I also didn't want to be rude. There was water... the water was just as cold as ever. She led me to the middle, where it was the deepest. I was never great at swimming, and as I struggled to stay afloat, the water surged into my nose and mouth. It tasted salty, like ocean water. "Let's try to swim down and touch the bottom," she suggested. I didn't like the idea, but went along with it anyway. I don't like the idea either. I don't like where any of this is going. No matter how romantic and beautiful and innocent it is. Found fucking hair in the pool. Whole thing, no. I swam down, my lungs burning. Something bumped into me. Despite the stinging, I opened my eyes. A pair of cold, dead eyes stared back at me. I yelped, letting my breath escape in a rush of bubbles. I kept my eyes open as I tore through the water. The water seemed infinite, definitely beyond the proportions of a swimming pool. All around me, dead bodies were suspended and upright under the surface. Some had pieces missing, as though something had been eating them. Something wrapped around my leg, and it definitely wasn't hair this time. I looked down and saw her, unnaturally red lips pulled back in a mocking smile, revealing a row of sharp teeth not unlike those of an anglerfish. Oh God. I struggled weakly. My vision became blotchy and blurred. I could see the surface above me. Human forms bobbed up and down, dark and shapeless in the infinite water. In one last effort, I kicked as hard as my oxygen-starved muscles would allow. For a moment her grip slackened, and I swam frantically. When I finally broke through the surface, the atmosphere was strangely calm. I heard the hum of lawnmowers in the distance as I desperately sucked air back into my lungs. My arms were shaking as I pulled myself out of the pool. I looked back into the water. Nothing was there. Now, as I'm sitting here writing this, I can still hear her singing her siren song. Whoa! Holy shit. That was not a very long one, but still freaking freaky. Oh my God. Still cool though. I kind of like the premise. Wow, that's... Eesh. Yeah, that's one thing I don't care for is the ocean. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hate water or anything. I don't hate the beach or anything like that. But I just wouldn't want to be stuck out in the ocean. I think that's a very scary thing. I tried to switch bodies with my sister. Sure, why not? Let's see. What do we got here? Is it another long one? No, this one's pretty good. Alright. If this were a Disney movie, I'd be the evil sister. And we are a girl again. Alright, cool. More development. Can you blame me? My sister Ava got quite a different lot in life than I did. Tall, tan, and bosom. Buxom? Bosom? I'm guessing it's bosom.
Buxom.
With a placid disposition and a beautiful voice. Me? I'm short and pale, with a habit of eating too many Reese's and a voice that sounds like a dying frog. Sometimes when I tell her, she'll laugh. That tinkling, feminine, beautiful laugh. And go, oh Cora, don't be jealous. We should love each other like sisters, not fight over stupid things. But I wonder if she'd still say that, if she were the one who got the short end of the stick. Last night was the breaking point. We went to a party at one of the fraternities. Okay, college sisters, here we go. I waved over one of my classmates, Robbie, from physics. But as soon as I did, his eyes fell on Ava. It was all over. No matter how many jokes I made, no matter how many times I touched his shoulder, he barely gave me a second look. That very night, after Ava went to bed, I snuck out of our apartment. I heard rumors, crazy ones, that a real-life witch lived in the abandoned house at the end of the street. It was something no grown-ass woman should have believed. But I was desperate. When I arrived at the house, my heart sank. The boards were rotten and splintered. The glass was cut into large, pointed shards that rose up from the frame like fangs. I could tell there was a light on inside, though somewhere, a dim yellow glow. I raised my hand to knock, but before my fist hit the wood, a voice called from inside. Come in! Cree! Oh, God, that's the fucking best I'm going to offer in sound effects. I took a step inside, my legs shaking. Hello? The light seemed to be coming from a back room. I made my way towards it. Welcome. A woman sat on the floor, in the middle of a pentagram, wearing a hooded robe. That's not what you want to see when you enter someone's house. Honestly, you don't want to enter someone's house the 1 second they tell you to come in before you knock. Unless they have like a fucking bunch of security cameras and they can see your every move. Even then, that's still sketchy. So, yeah, I would have never went in. She looked only a few years older than me, her blonde hair poking out from under the hood. Are you the witch? I said, rather awkwardly. She grimaced. Witch is not the term we use around here. It's woman of the magical arts. I'm so sorry, well, what do you seek? She interrupted. I'm getting weird Harry Potter vibes here. I want to switch bodies with my sister. An easy spell. I can do it for you, but the question is, can you pay the price? What's the price? She paused, staring up at me with her ice blue eyes. Your firstborn son. Switch bodies with my sister. For looks and other types of vanity-based reasons. In exchange, here's my first kid. Take him forever. I don't need him. I don't know, I stuttered. She broke into laughter. I'm just messing with you. The payment is money. $1,000. Cash or credit. Jesus Christ, this is a... this freaking witch really caught up with the modern times, man. She really knows how to work a business, even like witchcraft. That's crazy. Credit, I said, breathing a sigh of relief. Jeez. $1,000? You have that on credit just ready to go? You just ready to throw that out there? Oh, wait. Well. No, I guess. I mean, if you can. I mean, if you can afford it. I fumbled for my wallet and handed her the card. What is she gonna do? Charge? Is she gonna just slip it through her freaking face? She's gonna throw it into a fucking cauldron and smoke's just gonna fly up and direct deposit that shit in? What the fuck is... What are you gonna do with that? It's so stupid. She pulled a smartphone with one of those square card readers out from the fold of her robe. Once she swiped it, she patted the floor and said, "Come, sit with me." Hold on. This is a modern day witch. Is this what modern day witchcraft is like? Because that is super fucking funny. I love this. This isn't even freaking creepy yet. Honestly, this is all just really fucking funny. I love it. Oh my god. This is great. I gingerly lowered myself down to the pentagram. Or on the pentagram. After it's done, will she know we've been switched? She shook her head. No. I'll cast a memory reformation spell too, which will reform her memories and make her think she was always you. I smiled. Good. She took my hands in hers. Lady of Darkness, I beseech thee, switch this woman and... Again, I'm not trying my absolute best. I will never try my absolute best with that. One of the floorboards creaking from the back room. I shot up, staring into the shadows. Thump, thump, thump. Out of the darkness, a silhouette began to take form. A woman, old and withered, with pentagrams and symbols cut up and down her skin in white. Oh my god. Shining scars. She stared at me with two deep red eyes, and I felt my blood run cold. "Do you need help, dear?" she asked. "No, Grandma. I got it. She just wants a body swap with memory reformation." But the old woman paced forward. She knelt on the ground beside me, and she leaned in close, until I could smell the odd, citrusy scent of her hair. Body swap again. Did it not work the first time? I looked at her, eyebrows furrowed. What? Well, you were just in here a few weeks ago. We did this exact same spell. I stared at her, the realization sinking in. I was? Oh, yes. A smile crinkled in her pale skin, and her eyes twinkled. You were in here, looking to switch bodies with your better-looking sister, and to make sure she never remembered any of it. Oh, shit! This is some crazy Freaky Friday next level shit. Oh, crap, I love the twist. Oh, man, it's super weird, though, how the other woman just kind of just made her way in. And just like, oh, hey, I remember you. That's this story was like, it was less creepy and more quirky, and I really liked that. But it kind of took me out of it at times. Still, I love the twist at the end. That's pretty funny. I think we got time for one more. All right, I think I got the last one here. Now, if you know anything about me, which most of you probably don't, I don't like spiders. Well, most spiders. I'm okay with small spiders. They kind of help me in a way, get rid of any bugs that might be crawling around. But big spiders, nope, can't do them. Never could, never will. Fucking hate them. Hope they'd all die. Alright, so we are going to read this one because I feel like I should leave this off with a pretty sizable one. Holy shit. But one that maybe might get me chilled up and all skin crawly. So, I used to like spiders. Unlike a lot of people, I never had been bothered by spiders, and in fact, found them fascinating. There was one that had a web on my front porch, and I would watch her nearly every morning when I had my coffee. I had refused to let my husband... God damn... I don't have a problem with being all these female characters in these stories, but like, they're all female. Can we just once be a bro? I had refused to let my husband take down her web, or rather, I liked them. Or rather, I had liked them. Let me first tell a little bit about myself. I am 47 years old and from Texas. I won't say my first name, but I will give you my last, as it is rather common. Mrs. Henderson. I used to help volunteers at the elementary school. I used to help volunteer at the elementary school where my kids used to go to school. They are grown now, 23 and 18. My oldest is a veterinary assistant and living in California, and the 18-year-old had left for college a few months ago. My husband makes enough so that I don't have to work, which leaves me with a lot of free time. I had seen where the school had been looking for people to help out with the kids. Things like helping chaperone field trips or watching them at lunches or recess. It had been years since my kids had been kids, and I missed it. I helped out at the school a few days a week. Usually I would watch the kids during lunch and recess as well. It was a job I enjoyed doing. The school was a small one, and it had not taken long to get to know most of the kids by name. They called me Mrs. H, and seeing their bright smiles was the best part of my day. The worst I had to deal with was when Susan had fallen from the monkey bars and broken her arm, at least until a month ago. It was the end of recess, and I was making my last round of the playground when I first spotted the trouble. At the far end of the playground and near the fence that looked out on an empty field were two boys with their backs to me. Ugh. I could identify them by their size and identical blonde crew cuts. They were 9-year-old twins and holy terrors of the playground, who I will call Mason and Kevin. I tried to find something to like in every kid I watched, but those two made it very hard to do so. They were disruptive in the lunchroom, constantly talked back, and on more than one occasion I had caught them bullying smaller and younger children. I knew right away that they were up to something, and with a sigh I started for them. Freak, weirdo. Yep, yeah, those are bullies. Those are bully words. I heard them yell it, and it was only then that I saw the kid they had cornered. At first I thought he was 6 or 7, but as I drew closer and saw that he was closer to the twins' age, but just very short and skinny for his age, I did not recognize the boy and figured this must have been his first or second day here. His hair was the first thing I noticed about him. It was a bright red that was almost orange, and defiantly something I would have noticed. Definitely something. No, I had it right. Defiantly. Maybe they meant definitely. I don't know. Definitely something I would have noticed if he had been here longer than that. Despite the fact it was close to 80, the boy had on a sweater. A heavy white wool sweater that looked handmade. Jesus Christ, what the hell's wrong with you, kid? You're gonna die. It made his pale skin look even more faded out. He also had a pair of cheap blue jeans, the kind with a drawstring instead of a button zipper. Or a button or zipper. What the hell's a button zipper? He wasn't doing anything to try and fight back. He just stood there, staring at the ground. What is going on here? I asked what my oldest used to call my mom's mean business voice. I could guess what was going on, but it was the best way to get their attention. Both Mason and Kevin, it's Kevin now, turned to look at me, but the redhead just kept staring at the ground. Mason at least had the decency to look somewhat ashamed, but Kevin just stared back defiantly at me. He was usually the one that started something out of the two, and Mason would just go along with him. Jerry ate a spider, Mason said, as he pointed a finger at the redhead. It was really gross, he added as he made a face. I sighed. The two had a bad habit of lying to get other children in trouble. God damn it. The fucking grammar errors in this. Yeah, we saw the freak eat it. Kevin piped in. Oh, now he's back to Kevin. Look at that. He's back. He changed. Kevin piped in as he sneered down at the boy. I never laid a hand on my sons or any other person for that matter, but right then I could have slapped the hell out of Kevin. Damn. Instead, I looked back at Jerry, who still hadn't moved. He had not looked up yet either. His dark green eyes just stared down at his feet. It looked like he was muttering to himself, but silently. His hands hung loosely down at his sides. Both thumbs were tucked against his palm, but the other fingers tapped against his jeans in no discernible rhythm or pattern. The fingers were long and slender, the sort of fingers that would be great at playing piano. He looked like he might have been special needs, and that made me even angrier. I turned to the twins, and the look on my face was enough to make Mason finally lose his look of defiance. Get to class now, and I will be talking to your teacher. I practically growled at them. Even Kevin was smart enough not to argue with me at this time. I watched them hurry away and then turned back to Jerry. I moved over in front of him. Are you alright, sweetie? I asked him in a much gentler tone. His fingers continued tapping. Would you like me to walk you back to class? I asked and offered my hand. The fingers finally stopped tapping, and it was then that he finally looked up at me. He did not reach for my hand, though. Instead, he opened his mouth. I thought it was to scream, but he just held it open, as wide as he could get it, and it did not make a sound. I do not like where this is fucking going, because I've seen enough fucking horror movies, and when kids open their mouths like that, something fucking jumps out. That was when I realized there was something wrong in his mouth, or something wrong with his mouth. I could not see his teeth, or his tongue, or anything all but an inky blackness inside his mouth. It is funny the thoughts that go through your head to try and rationalize what you are looking at. I thought that Jared Lee actually had a mouthful of ink in his mouth for a second. Then something within the darkness moved, and I recoiled back instinctively. Something poked out of his bottom lip. It was a spider, I realized. He had an actual spider in his mouth. Its midsection was jet black, and around the size of a quarter. The legs, however, were the same color red as his hair. They were long and spindly legs. I watched in a horrified sort of fascination as the spider crawled down his chin and dropped onto his sweater. That's so freaking freaky. I don't like that at all. I hate spiders. I hate when people do that shit. It paused there, and it seemed to regard me for a few seconds before it started to crawl downwards again. Nope, fuck it, nope, it knows you're there, fucking kill it, it's aware. I watched as it scuttled down the shirt and then his jeans before dropping to the ground where it started in my direction. Nope, fucking kill it now. The thing was coming at me, I realized. I took a step back, and then the thing followed me. Like I said before, I had always liked spiders, but I stomped down on this one without any hesitation. Yeah, you are right to do so. I'd probably be throwing the fucking kid against it. Horrified, I looked back up at Jerry. He was still in the same position with his mouth wide open. More spiders! Ooh, we're spilling out now. Dozens and dozens of the things were pouring out of his mouth, an endless cascade of them. More than was possible to have fit in his mouth. They spilled down the shirt and pants and dropped to the ground where they immediately began scurrying towards me. I tried to stomp as many as I could, but there were just too many of them to get, and several started to crawl up my shoes and socks. I stomped and kicked wildly, ignoring the flare of pain in my bad left knee as I did, but they just kept climbing. I could feel their tiny legs scurrying up my legs, and without thinking, I used my hands to swipe them off. That was when I felt a sharp pinch on my right hand, between the webbing of my thumb and forefinger. It felt like a bite from a fire ant, but worse. It was quickly followed by another bite, and then another. They began to bite in earnest now, and as they swarmed up my arms and legs. Oh, this is a fucking nightmare. One of them had made its way up my neck. I could feel legs tickle the bottom of my lip and then crawl up into my mouth. I bit down hard and crushed the spider between my teeth, and it tasted something metallic. It reminded me of when I had run on my tongue over a battery as a child. I wanted to spit it out and then vomit, but instead I kept my teeth clenched shut as I was terrified more would try to get in. More moved over my lips and began to climb higher. I could feel them trying to crawl in my nose and my ears, and oh Lord, they were crawling up into any place they could find. I then did what I should have done as soon as I saw the first one. I turned and ran. I had only taken a few steps, however, my bad knee gave out and I fell heavily on the ground. I barely felt it, however, the pain of the bites. I barely felt it, however, over the pain of the bites. In the last desperate act, I began to roll back and forth like they taught you to do when you were on fire. I wish to God I was on fire. As I rolled, I caught my glimpse of Jerry. His mouth was finally closed and he was watching me with a bored, almost blank expression. His arms were still down by his sides and the fingers were tapping again. The spiders were still all over me by then, in me. I swear I could feel them crawling inside of me. Mercifully, I blacked out after a few more seconds. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital bed. They had strapped me down because I had kept scratching at myself. There were tiny red bumps all over my body, too numerous to count. The doctor said I had been found unconscious in the playground shortly after recess had ended. When I told him about the spiders, he had said that there had been no spiders on me or even anywhere near me. They couldn't even find the one I had killed when I had bitten it. That horrible metallic taste coated my tongue for days afterwards, though. I don't know if Jerry himself removed the spider or if I somehow swallowed it, and I don't know which is worse. The doctor told me I had an allergic reaction to something with the bumps that were hives and not bites. He said that the spiders were only from a dream, my mind trying to come up with an explanation as to what happened to my body. I never mentioned Jerry as I knew there was no way anyone would believe me about him. I let them think the spiders were only a nightmare. It was just easier that way. Well, first off, they were a fucking nightmare, a nightmare come to life. The bumps faded away after a week, and I have yet to see another one of those damn spiders, but I swear I can still feel them crawling up me sometimes, crawling in me. I can't stand to even look at the spiders or their webs now. I never went back to the school. In fact, I barely leave the house now. Seeing anyone with even remotely red hair is enough to put me into a panic. Bill worries about me, but I can't tell him what happened. I don't want to tell anyone. I wouldn't have written about this now out, but something else has happened. My friend and a neighborhood gossip dropped by to see me the other day. She told me that several kids and one teacher had allergic reactions like mine while at the school. 2 of the kids were still at the hospital, she said. They had closed the school for the rest of the week so that they could clean and disinfect it. I didn't say anything to her about how that was a waste of time. They could scrub down every inch of the school, but it wouldn't help. Not until they got rid of him. Fuck spiders. Fuck spiders. Fuck spiders. Fuck Jerry. Fuck spiders. Fuck this whole damn story. No. Fuck you. No. Fuck you, NoSleep. Okay, that was my last story. God damn it, I hate myself. That may not have been anything to you guys unless you're like me and you fucking hate spiders. Again, big spiders. I'm imagining these things were fucking big. Okay, it said this fucking thing, yeah, it said that his body was the size of a fucking quarter. That's a big one, okay? And imagine a whole fucking 1,000 of those things crawling up your body. In your body. Nope. Nope. Count me gone. I am gone. Fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck everything else. Alright, guys, that has been it for this rendition of NoSleep on Reddit. And I had fun with this. I like seeing these kinds of stories. Some of them were simple, some of them were funny, and like that last one, a total fucking nightmare fest. But I hope you guys really enjoyed. I do, like I said, want to keep doing this as a series. There's always more stories to tell on this page. There's shit tons of stories that have just been posted daily. So I definitely do want to come back to this as an ongoing series, and as well as check out other subreddits. But if you guys enjoyed, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more videos, you can definitely check out more after this. But yeah, that'll be it for me, guys. I'll catch you all later.